Next up, we have Ruth Burr Reedy, who is formerly the lead SEO at Moz. She now works here in Oklahoma at Big Wing Interactive, where she's the senior SEO manager. And for my money, she's the best SEO in Oklahoma, no doubt, possibly the region. Sorry, Greg. But she's also quite possibly, as a personal friend, the smartest person that I know, possibly the smartest person in Oklahoma. Sorry, everybody. And so here she is, the wonderful Ruth Burr Reedy.
We're stopping for a selfie. Take it for us.
Okay.
Selfie anymore.
Yes, that's not a selfie, but
Well, still.
swap it around.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, it's a good one. It's a keeper.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ruth Burr Reedy.
Hi, everybody. Is it, hello? Is it on? All right, cool. Oh, there it is. I couldn't hear myself in monitors. So this is my third Conflunce. I'm really excited that we've sold out. We're all here. It's not raining. Conflunce first. So really excited to see you guys all here today. And we're going to be hearing a lot in the next couple of days about building your brand online, because building your digital brand is really important. It's a huge part of what Ian talked about. I know Dana's going to be talking about it later today. And I wanted to talk about a specific problem that people who do SEO can have when you're doing branded search. So this is something that drives me crazy. No, that's not. Oh, it's upside down. Number of times I have done that in my life, more than 2. Okay, has this ever happened to you? You're like doing your campaign. It's going really great. You're getting more and more traffic. Everybody's coming to the website. Everybody really likes it. You take your results to your client or your boss, and they're like, well, yeah, but how much of that was branded traffic, though? And you're like, oh, well, you know, a lot of it, we can't really tell the exact keyword that drove the search, but then, you know, we look in Google Search Console and we see, okay, a lot of it was our brand name and a lot more of it were brand terms and the business name, and then we get some sizable, but not compared to the rest of it, traffic from our most bestest keyword. And we're like, but think about all of the extra pages that we're driving traffic into this site. Well, no, most of the traffic is coming to the home page, and then not as much traffic is going to the other pages. So yeah, a bulk of our traffic is in fact branded traffic. And then you get this question. And you're like, excuse me? I mean, it's such a hard problem because there is this conception that SEO is about driving traffic to your website from keyword search. And it is, but there's so much more that one does when one is doing SEO that really can affect branded search. And so I'm here to tell you today that anybody who tells you that as an SEO, you are not the one who is driving branded search traffic, that's bullshit. And I'm going to show you why. First of all, this is not how people search. People aren't like, oh, I need a dishwasher. I'm going to Google dishwasher, and then I'm going to click on the #1 result, and I'm going to buy that. Yay! Problem solved. That is not how people actually make purchasing decisions. Instead, they're like, I don't even know how to shop for a dishwasher. I don't even know what to look at. Okay, well, I'm going to look at this dishwasher buying guide from a brand that I trust, Consumer Reports, and then maybe I'm going to look at some different models. I'm going to see what kind of reviews they have, and I'm going to look at their specifications. I'm going to measure the hole in my counter, and then I'm going to search, okay, based on all of that, now I know that I want a KitchenAid dishwasher because they have a good combination of reliability and pricing. And then based on that, this person might decide, okay, but really, I need to go and see this dishwasher in person in order to really figure out whether or not I want it. Or I need to look and see what the different prices are for this dishwasher in my local area. And there are 2 places that they might go. They could go to Home Depot, or they could come to you, Pete, of Pete's Appliances, a made-up company, although it's real, it's in New York, but they could go to Home Depot, or they could come to you. And which one of those things that they do depends a lot on how much you've seeded your brand presence online up to that point. People are going to make decisions, and then they're going to decide where they want to go in order to get what they need. And a lot of times that last trip, that last click, that last search that results in the conversion is a branded search. But that doesn't come out of a vacuum. That comes from the activity that you and I and everyone in this room is doing already online to promote that brand, so that by the time somebody makes it all the way through this journey, every single step in this journey is a point where you can form a relationship, so that final search comes to you, Pete at Pete's Appliances, and not your competitor at Home Depot or wherever else you're going. And honestly, if you're competing with a giant multinational company, your best bet in order to get that final search and to get that final click is to do branding online. So, how does one build a brand? Everybody else is going to talk about this a lot today, but I'm going to talk specifically about the ways in which one builds a brand using search engine optimization. First of all, you have to understand the customer journey. And this goes back to what Ian was talking about earlier today. You need to be able to find the places that your customers already are online. You need to understand the questions that people need answered on their way to deciding to make a purchase decision. And you need to be able to provide value to them, to be useful to them, as Ian put it, at every step along that journey. So you need to be doing research to understand the customer journey. Then you need to be engaging with people, and that involves a lot of that off-site stuff that SEOs do. You know, we talk a lot about link building, we talk a lot about, you know, likes and shares, and a lot of times we like to think about that in terms of Google. You know, Google likes for you to get links, but getting links in, getting people in, engaging with people off-site in order to drive them onto your website is a huge part of what digital marketing can do, and those links can be points of engagement with your potential buyer. If you understand where else they are online and you're putting content there that's useful to them, even if they don't even come to your website at that point, they can see, oh, Pete of Pete's Appliances has this piece of content over here that I really trust. He must be a trustworthy person. He must know his stuff. I'm going to consciously or unconsciously keep that positive brand interaction in mind further down the customer journey. You have to build authority. Again, building authority, a lot of times when people think about branding, they think about advertising. They think about their radio jingle and their TV ad and their billboard and their newspaper ad, and all of that traditional advertising is still incredibly valuable when you're building a brand. And if you have the money to put in there, you should definitely be doing it. But what you shouldn't be doing is assuming that that is all that's going on. And what you as an SEO or a digital marketer, or whatever it is, I don't know all of you personally, so I don't know what all your jobs are. But what you need to be thinking about is, okay, what am I doing to advance that brand? How is what I do online related to that radio jingle, to that TV ad, to that billboard? So how are we creating consistent experiences that really say, this is a business, this is a legit business, they have their act together, they have their act together on the internet, they have their act together offline as well. So, you know, as people are coming to your website, do you have authority? As you're getting links, where are you getting links from? Again, we like to think of that in terms of, oh, we've got this really great website, we got a really great link from them, Google's gonna love that, but are people gonna love that? Is that link placed in a place where people are going to click on it and then come to your website and then give you money in exchange for goods and services? That's building authority, and that's what we do. Publishing and promoting content. This is another thing that happens offline, it happens online, it happens on your site, it happens off your site. You know, you've heard it twice so far today, and I'll say it again. Publishing content is about more than publishing content. It's not just putting stuff out there, it's putting good stuff out there, it's putting the right stuff out there. Once you understand that customer journey, you can be publishing and promoting your content in ways that create positive interactions with your brand, so that by the time people are ready to buy, they're coming to you. Providing a good experience. You know, some people might feel that user experience is solely a design thing, but there are ways that a search engine optimization expert should be getting involved with providing a good user experience. Site speed is a huge one. Does your page load fast? Is your site crawlable by Google? Do you have concrete paths from entries to your site to your conversion points? Is your information laid out in such a way that people in Google can both intuitively understand it, get to your website, and do what they need to do. That's a huge part of your brand. It is a huge part of success in SEO as well. Differentiation with your brand. Again, publishing better content than everybody else, being unique, being weird. These are the kinds of things that SEOs do that build a brand online. So when you think about the sales funnel, a lot of people tend to think of digital marketing as a very top of funnel practice. It's something that you do to build awareness and interest so that, you know, people they're reading your content, but they're not really ready to buy. And that's kind of where you might think SEO does the most good. And SEO can be, and content marketing can be, a hugely successful top of funnel effort. But an actual SEO funnel is taking place at every step of that journey as well. It's starting offline, it's bringing people onto your website, it's making sure they have a good experience when they get there, and then it's making sure that they come back again. So how can you prove any of this? Like, I'm saying that, sounds really good, right? Like, yes, branding, woo! But tiny baby boss back there may not be impressed. So let's talk about how we can actually measure that success. First of all, you have to change your attribution model. You just have to do it. There's going to be a great talk later today that goes more into how to do it. But if you are attributing all of your sales to the most recent interaction that the person has had with your website, it is always going to skew in favor of your branded traffic. And someone who's not a sophisticated marketer might think that the rest of your marketing that you're doing to get people there with branded traffic isn't valuable. So change your attribution model. I like a position-based. I like to give the most credit to the first and the last interaction. Whatever you do, make sure that you're looking at the different ways that people visit your website before that final trip where they decide to buy. Invest in customer relationship management. These are a few tools of varying levels of expensiveness that you can use, but make sure that you understand when people come to your site, how they get there, and also how many times it might take them to visit on average before they convert. How that changes based on whether or not they came by clicking on an ad or searching or clicking on an email. I mean, obviously it's not their first visit if you've already emailed them, but understand how many times people need to come back and about how long that takes. If you can start to say things like, yes, it's true, traffic to our blog does not tend to convert, but someone who enters the site on a blog post within 6 months is 85% more likely to convert, or converts at a 20% higher average purchase value. Those are the kinds of things, if you've got numbers to back it up, that you can use to make the case for filling that sales funnel at the top. Look at Google Trends. So your brand keywords are keywords. You should be targeting them. You should be tracking them. And guess what? If searches for your brand term go up, you should know why. Is it a TV ad? Is it a radio spot? Or is it that really awesome piece of content that you spent 6 months creating that just went totally viral? You should know. You should be tracking the search volume for your brand terms. And that includes things like your CEO's name or whatever prominent employee you might have. It also includes searches for things like your brand sucks. You should know how many people are searching on that and how what you're doing online and off affects that. That's your brand, that's your business. Track your brand mentions. Track them on social media, but also track them online. Make sure you're using some kind of alert service. There are a lot of good ones. Google Alerts still exist. Did you guys know that? Crazy. You can use that. Topsy is a really good one. You can set up if this, then that formulas that will tell you every time somebody uses the term Pete's Appliances online, whether they link to me or not, whether it's positive or negative, whether it's on social media or on a website or on my website or on a news story. I want to know, because mentions of your brand help build your brand. They help seed your brand online. And that conversation is happening whether you're there or not. So you should be there to take advantage of it, to participate in that conversation. You should also be tracking the volume, the search volume of your brand with any other keyword. So, you know, Home Depot dishwasher, Home Depot light bulb. Obviously, you're not Home Depot. But, you know, anytime that you are seeing a co-occurrence of your brand plus a keyword, that tells you what people are already associating with your brand. And the more times people are searching that on Google, the more Google is going to understand your brand is heavily associated with this keyword, with this product or service or thing. So when people search for that product or service or thing without your brand, maybe that's a clue that we should start including that brand more. So you want to be tracking how often those co-occurrences are taking place. You can either do that by just typing in variations of your brand into Google, not hitting enter, see what comes up. There are several tools that do this for you. My favorite is Keyword Tool. It's at keywordtool.io. They have assured me, for those of you who are real search nerds in the room, that the new Google Autocomplete API rules will not affect the tool. So that's why I'm continuing to use it. You should be looking at your click-through rate from search. You should be looking at it based on where you're appearing in the search results, and you should be tracking it for your branded terms, which is always probably going to be your best keyword. So in Search Console, which used to be Webmaster Tools, go to Search Analytics, and then you can look and see, what is my click-through rate from search? Are there times when I'm appearing in search a lot but no one is clicking? Is it because they're calling me? Is it because the search result that I'm showing them is terrible and they decide that they don't actually want to visit my website after all? You should know, you should be tracking it, you should be tracking it over time and tracking it back to your marketing efforts. Amplification, that's just links, likes, and shares. But if you can say, okay, I created this piece of content and 500 people saw it, 1,000 people saw it. We got 3,200 links, and those links drive an average of 1,500 visits a day. Those are ways that you can show that your SEO efforts are impacting the brand, because it's ways that you can show that you are reliably getting your brand out there in ways that people like, in ways that people share, in ways that people are seeing, so that later they come back and buy. I know that bounce rate and pages per visit are terrible, ancient, awful keywords or metrics that no one wants to track. They're dinosaurs, and no one wants to hang out with a dinosaur because they bite your face off. You may not want to share these metrics with your clients because, in my experience, your clients will get way over-focused on bounce rate. But you, as a marketer, should know, how long are people spending on my website? How long are they spending per page? How many pages are they using per visit? And most importantly, that path that we laid out earlier from the beginning of their entry to their visit to what they need, what they want to do, not what you want them to do, but what they want to do. How long is that? And are they getting all the way there? And if not, why not? And yeah, direct traffic. Yeah, SEO drives direct traffic. Yes, it absolutely does. You think people just find your website and they're like, I'm going to type in a website, and whatever website it is, that's where I'm going to buy my thing. No. Everything you're doing should also be impacting how many people come directly to your site every day. If you know that, and if you have an attribution model that's giving you credit for the earlier stuff that led to that direct traffic, you can make a case for why what you do is important. So that's what you pay me for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. That was brilliant.
Yay.
I have a question for you, and then there's going to be more, I'm sure. My question is that it's like SEO is this world, and a lot of people think of it as kind of hackers and, you know, fooling the search engines. And then there was this world of marketing and branding over here, sort of aloft. And what I'm seeing here is a collision. Or maybe a collision is too dramatic.
A marriage.
A marriage. That's nice. Ruth is only recently married, of course. So
I still think marriage is great.
So yes, a marriage collision, and these two things coming together. If you were a company, how do you bring SEO to the table of marketing?
Well, first of all, I don't think that SEO should ever have been solely about hacking or about fooling the search engines, because what you're doing when you're trying to hack the search engines, you're trying to figure out what they like and then trick them into thinking that you have it, is you're always going to be reacting. You're never going to be able to be proactive. And it also means that all of your focus is on the search engine, which is a robot, and also never going to give you any money, and not your customers, who are the people who are going to give you money. So in my mind, SEO has always been about marketing. But if you think about what marketing is showing people that you have what you want and you're the best place to get it so that they get it from you. That's a very simple explanation for what marketing is. All SEO is doing is saying to people, in the language that people are using to look for what you have, I have what you need. You can trust me when you get here that it will be what you need, and that it will be a good one of those, and that, you know, it's not going to be a terrible experience. So I think that the more that you can think about the need behind the keyword. So like the example that I always use is, like, if I have a headache, I don't Google a headache. I don't even Google aspirin. I Google Walgreens, because I know already that I need to go buy some aspirin for my headache. I don't need a website to tell me that. So you need to remember that people aren't necessarily searching for the problems, but that doesn't mean they don't have a task to complete or a problem to solve. The more you can think about the reason behind the keyword and incorporate the solution to that problem, the answer to that task, into your website at all levels, I mean, that's marketing. And I think that that is where SEO and marketing can really come together and live happily ever after.
I love it. Thank you. Questions from the audience? Sir.
You just got married. How did you use the internet to plan your wedding?
How did you use the internet to plan your wedding?
It's so funny because usually that dishwasher slide that I have is about wedding planning, but I feel like I've shown that slide around Oklahoma a bit. So here's the example that I often use of how people search. So I used Pinterest and I used the knot.com a lot. And when I was planning my honeymoon, I was thinking to myself, okay, where should I go on my honeymoon? So I searched best honeymoon destinations, and that was way too broad. And it made me realize I don't know what I want out of a honeymoon. So I talked to my husband about it. We decided, we want relaxing times. We don't necessarily want to go travel internationally. It needs to be somewhat affordable, but we want to be someplace with a beach. Okay, so then I go on Facebook and I ask my Facebook friends who know me, hey, where should I go on my honeymoon? And they're like, oh, you should go here. We went here. We went to the Dominican Republic and we loved it. We went to Thailand and it was great, but it was really intense. Things like that. And then based on that, I went on Pinterest and I started pinning places that I thought looked beautiful that I might want to hold hands with my husband while being there. And we settled on Hawaii. So then I Googled Hawaii vacations, which seems like a keyword that would be a converting keyword. I'm ready to convert, but I'm not ready to convert because Hawaii is a big place. You can do a lot of stuff. For example, I am really afraid of enclosed spaces. My husband is terrified of heights. We are not going in a helicopter. No. Nope. So that is right out. I did some more research and I went back to the knot.com because I already had a lot of positive experiences with that brand while planning my wedding. I used their budgeting tool. I used their CMS to build my wedding website because I was lazy and I didn't want to do it myself. So I trusted them to give me good information about different honeymoon options in Hawaii, and we settled, okay, we want to go to Maui. I Google Maui honeymoon packages, and that, my friends, is a money keyword. And that is the keyword that I converted on. And every single step along that journey was an opportunity for snorkel places or hotels or resorts or tour companies to interact with me, to provide me with useful information to help me plan my trip. I'm not ready for like, Snorkel Bob, come here to snorkel. It's like, dude, I'm not even gonna be there for 3 months. But if Snorkel Bob's like, here's the 10 best beaches to snorkel in Maui, that's great. That helps me choose my hotel, and then later I'm like, these people really understand snorkeling. I'm gonna go with them.
I gotta meet Bob.
What?
I gotta meet Bob.
Snorkel Bob is a real place, and it's actually the place that I always get my snorkel gear in Hawaii because they will provide you with a prescription mask.
And there you have it.
So you can see the fish. So yeah, all of those are ways in which brands have an opportunity to interact with me. And guess what? Somebody announces they're engaged on Facebook. They're saying, I'm gonna spend, average American wedding costs $28,000 in the next year. So get that money, y'all.
Yeah.
But be tasteful, be useful, be unique.
Right. Like a trophy, maybe. They might need a trophy for their wedding.
I already got the trophy. His name is Justin S. Reedy.
I've been married for a while, my wife is absolutely lovely and a doll.
She's so beautiful.
Okay, any other questions? You got me flustered.
What would you do when you first walk into a business that is small, local, and established, but really doesn't get this? Where do you start with them?
Where do you start with a business that is small, local, established, but just doesn't get this?
Well, I would probably start by showing them all of the places online where their competitors are doing stuff that they're not doing. I think that Ian's example of the Jaguar ad on the Cadillac result, that is a brilliant ad placement by Jaguar, and it's something that Cadillac should really be paying attention to. So that's something that I always like to come in and say, there's a super useful guide to Oklahoma City, top 10 ways Oklahoma City tree roots can get into your sewer, that your sewer management, I don't know the name of the industry, competitor has already published and it's really useful, and look how many people have shared it, look how many links there are to it. That's just one piece of content that's getting their brand out there. You're not doing any of that. It would be so easy. It would be so cool. You know, and also showing them that, like, yeah, they might rank for their money keyword, they might rank for Oklahoma City tree root removal, but they're missing a huge opportunity. You know, show them all of the different long tail searches that people are doing earlier on, like my plumbing is backed up, or how to tell if a tree is in my sewer line, or things like that that they're not ranking for, that their competitors are, and show them all of the different relationships that they're missing out on building. So I always like to show them the ways in which their competitors are kicking their ass.
Well, I completely agree. And you can also show them the money as well. Google have a good a tool, or basically really it's not really a tool, it's more of a methodology which calculates lifetime value per acquisition of a customer. So you basically, maybe the Conflunce Con can tweet it out, you basically figure out, well, how much is one new customer worth to us over the lifetime, including how many people, other people they refer, and how many times they buy, and let's include all of that. So it might be more than you think. Maybe a new customer is actually worth $3,000 to you. And then you say, well, how many new customers do we think this might be able to drive? Well, let's invest in it for a year. Let's hope that we drive this many customers. If we do, it will have more than paid for itself, maybe doubled or tripled the cost. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, adapt. That's a good way to get buy-in. Any other questions? Okay.
If you have questions later, come up and talk to me. I'm real friendly.
She is. Thank you, Ruth Burr, Reedy.